What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Unemployable. We have a special guest with us today, Dante Botha, who is my PPC guy who looks after all the traffic for my e-commerce business with the electric toilets. He also looks after traffic for James's e-commerce brands as well. And we do a deep dive on what is going on in the world of online traffic. What are the smartest people in the industry doing right now that the less smart people are not doing? Dante has a really interesting background. He comes from big agency background. Now he runs a small boutique agency managing traffic for real entrepreneurs. He's gotten outstanding results for our brands, also for James. He's a good dude. And we sit here and we just talk for an hour on what's happening with the intersection of AI, PPC, Meta. We even talked about the four-letter word Bing, which most people don't hear of, and whether or not Bing is going to become a bigger player now that ChatGPT is becoming a search engine without meaning to. More people are going there. It's a really interesting, wide-ranging discussion. I think you're going to love it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and with that said, enjoy the pod. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Unemployable. We are back with the four amigos. This week, we have somebody brand new for you to meet. His name is Dante Botha, and Dante runs all the traffic for my e-commerce business. He is the man behind the outstanding ROAS in that particular business with his awesome team. So we can't wait to dive in and have a chat with you today. How are you, mate? Welcome to the pod.
Adam, awesome. So glad to be here and excited, man. It's been a long time coming. We spoke about this last year. So to be here and to chat about all the stuff that's happened is awesome. So thanks for the opportunity. And James, good to see him here and great to be on the show with you boys. So look forward to, talking about all the stuff we're gonna take on. So awesome.
Lekker brew, as they say in South Africa, in case you're wondering where that magnificent accent is from. JD, how are you, mate? What's happening?
Good, mate. Very well indeed. And good to have Dante here. Dante also runs the traffic for a couple of my businesses as well. So,
yep.
It should be a fun session.
It's awesome having a local person to do your PPC. Like, one of the things I was looking for when I was starting was somebody who I could go and have a coffee with once a month and sit down and look them in the whites of the eyes. And it's been a really great relationship. We'll jump into that more. Mark? Yeah. What is happening in your world, mate?
Mate, I'm excited today. I'm excited to get into the world of ads and PPC with Dante. You've told me about Dante before, but I've never actually had a chat with him. So, mate, I'm just as excited, I'm sure, as everyone else watching today.
No, it's going to be good. We're looking forward to diving in. You were going to say something there, Dante?
Well, guys, fire away. You can ask us many questions and ask difficult questions. I mean, this is the opportunity. I think that sometimes with this, we always talk about the good stuff where we win, right? And I think a lot of people actually want to know what's not working. You know, what is that actually feel that you've tried it, but somebody else is also having the same problem. So, look forward to the questions.
Let's dive into that, but let's start, Dante, because one thing we always take for granted being on the pod is we always assume everybody's met us before, but it's not always the case. And so in your case, it's definitely true because you're the first time on the pod. So maybe just give us a little bit of background of your background in advertising so that we get some context about how you got to be an agency owner.
Yep.
And then a little bit about your agency. And then we'll dive into this really hot topic of traffic and what's working now, what's not, and all that good stuff.
Cool. Well, it's always how long's a piece of string, but I'll sort of, I started off in 1998, so just before the .com years happened. And my old man bought a training center and I did the marketing for it. And the interesting thing is when I did that, the only resources at the time that I could find was really good was J. Conrad Levinson and of guerrilla marketing and David Ogilvy stuff. So, and I implemented that stuff and I could immediately see this direct correlation between advertising and sales. And it just blew my mind. And I absolutely got engrossed in this. And I was like, this is actually the most wonderful thing. You put a newspaper ad out, you get 10 calls a day. You sell 2 courses, and so which led me to do a postgrad in advertising, and which was awesome. And then I went into the big agency world after that, and I worked for Unilever McCann as head of digital. I worked for Sapien Nitro as head of digital, and I was fortunate enough to work on a number of big brands across my career. I worked in Microsoft, I worked in Unilever, couple of the Unilever brands. I've worked in Volkswagen, Toyota, Lego, Lindt, Ferrero Rocher, NAB, Eubank, across so many different brands. And the interesting thing that sort of struck me, the more I was in big ad agency world, the more I saw the art of cause and effect was being lost, and the conversation is all just about branding. So it is almost like, and you had these philosophers around what works, and I was like, but you can't prove it. And that just that desire of going back to that is what actually got me started to start Conversion Advantage. And that is 12 years ago. And the key thing for me at the time was just, if you can bring science and creativity together, that's what generates sales. And that sort of inspired me to do that, because I just wanted to do it differently, and then went out and started Conversion Advantage. And the first 10 years were in across Australia and South Africa. And the last 2 years are sort of really zeroed into that space, into just focusing on the things that drive the biggest part in conversion that I've seen science-based, and that was Google Ads and CRO, and then social playing a supporting role in, from a place where it actually is once somebody's put their hand up they want to buy, to actually be in the supporting role of, retargeting those people with really cool stuff, So that's been the journey so far, Adam. Hopefully that gives you a quick breakdown.
So for people who don't know, CRO stands for Conversion Rate Optimization. So getting more people who go to your website to actually convert and buy from you, in very plain English. And we've had a couple of good sessions on our electric toilets business with you, where we go into Dante's office. At the time it was in Burleigh, it now expanded and moved to Robina. But we would put our website up and go through every single page and look at the color of the buttons, the placement of the buttons, where there's trust badges, where there's, all these different things. It's a real art and science in and of itself. And you also have some businesses outside, right, that are online businesses. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do? Because I think that's a really important piece, because you're not just an agency owner, you're actually a brand owner as well.
That's right. So I own a business in South Africa called agreementsonline.co.za. That's also 300 legal templates. And it basically is quite interesting, because when we bought the business, we bought it from somebody who had the business 14 years, and it was her collection of templates that she put together, which basically does legal templates for any business of any size. And the interesting thing on that journey is that, you wear the owner of a business hat versus, agency owner hat. And we did a lot of experimentation in that business. So anything that we want to test first, we hammer it out there. If it works, then we'll roll out across clients. And if it doesn't, then we go back to the drawing board and we try, the next thing. But even on that journey, I think that what's been interesting is that the patterns over the last 6-7 months across a lot of, in the digital sphere, when you look at all sort of channels, there's a lot of change, especially the last 2-3 months. And I think we are underestimating the effect of what ChatGPT is having across the globe, across all media channels, because the things that we would go to media for, we are suddenly get answers, and more informed answers, through the chat and the AI, because it's giving us what we would hope to find from a lot of different channels. It just gives us smarter answers, and a better place. So we're seeing a lot of direct traffic conversions starting to appear. So we're going back to old school, is our SEO strategy in place? Is our content marketing strategy in place? Are we doing value added marketing? So we're sort of an interesting space. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for the smart guys, but I think for the guys that have been in there, that have sort of just left stuff as it is, there's going to be a lot of disruption over the next 6 to 12 months, I think, and a lot of opportunity for the guys that are sort of in the front of the queue.
Can we drill down on that a little bit? How do you think language learning models are going to change search engine optimization? Or like at the moment with Amazon or with Google, it's the search term that is the thing that we need to go after. That's the storefront. How do you think language learning models might impact and change the way the customers are searching?
Mark, that is a great question, mate. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have Google Analytics?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So everything Google Analytics is a backdrop feeding back into every purchase that's gone through different channels where they've come through geographic details. Right. So if you could look at a tool like SimilarWeb that actually looks at somebody's search behavior, where they've been, all the sites they've been to, what's happening is that Google, for instance, has got a digital passport in each one of us and every single behavior we've got. So what you will see is there's this interesting insight that you get on, you can see it in Google Ads, which is visits to conversions or days to conversions from first click, right? And it's an attribution model. When you start seeing that, it's not just a one-click sale. It's very rare that happens, right? So what is happening is that a lot of the platforms are building incredible IP to which websites you've been to, right? And if, let's say, somebody you want to go after, let's say you want to go after insurance, right? If you've been to 5 different competitor websites, right, and getting quotes, and a platform knows that information, right? It's not just a search term, but it's actually behavior that you've taken over the last 2-3 months. So it puts you in an in-market bucket. So when you look at that plus search term behavior, there's a lot more that they're pulling in. Then you got voice search, which has been recorded as you go, and very few people know that. So the conversations we're having today will be recorded on that. So when you start bringing all those elements in, it becomes a lot more complex than.
So you're saying they're listening.
100%.
That absolutely is fact, because there's the weirdest occurrences of that happening. But can you point to the proof?
So the interesting thing is that sometimes you might have an old schoolmate that you haven't caught up with years, and somebody you catch up with a mate and he goes, oh, how's so and so, right? Suddenly, 2 days later, in your Facebook feed says, why don't you make friends? It brings up a friend recommendation as the guy that you spoke about, right? So that's the one sort of proof when you saw City on the social front. But what's interesting, when you look at your YouTube recommendations, when they start becoming about conversations you've had, or when, or you go to display advertising, suddenly you spoke about a sports game, and suddenly you talk about sports sweater, and now it's coming up in your advertising on blogs that you're going to, so that is something that's very not spoken about a lot. But what we have is that these platforms are becoming sponges, and it's literally a digital war for revenue, right? Because every dollar that comes to Google, Facebook feels they should have had that, and vice versa. And TikTok feels they're missing out, and LinkedIn feels they should be having a part of that. So the platform that does this the best will win the revenue, because they get to, best to know what customer behavior is.
And they get the best performing result for their client.
That's right.
Ultimately.
That's right.
I'd be fascinated to know what James is getting in his recommendations based on his web search and conversations.
I don't think fascinated would be the word I'd use. Horrified might be another.
What are you getting advertised, James?
We saw last time James the offices, we saw these European volleyball teams coming up all the time and all that. I'm just teasing, but it does happen. I actually got a funny story on that. I had a girl as the account manager in my team. She's a young girl, very good looking girl, and we had a client meeting and she had to do the presentation. She's sitting next to me, and we kept getting these pregnancy tests.
Oh no!
It's coming up all over, all the time as we do this client presentation.
Oh,
and I got to the stage where the client actually said, "Why do these pregnancy tests?" And she was sitting next to me, and she was like 22 years old, And I just sat there, So I want to say that, and this is years ago, right? So it obviously, the more these platforms can act like a mirror into what you like from a news point of view and what you believe.
They're also buying data too, right? So they're buying data, for example, of your credit card, or that sort of stuff too as well, right? They're buying all these data sources. It's not just what you're doing online, and this is why a lot of people don't understand that. Somebody said to me not long ago, Google or Facebook knows what your dog eats, how far the vet that you go to is from your house, the route that you take to get there, because all of that mapping data, all of those receipts of transactions, they literally have a much more detailed insight into you than
It's like when there's a sort of funny meme about someone applying for a job at Google. It said, don't worry about your resume. We already know everything about you anyway. Dante, when you say that they're listening, I mean, it's obviously through here, but I mean, who's listening? How are they listening? Is it voice through here? Is it voice through where? It's like, give us a bit of insight into that.
Where have we checked the box that has activated the microphone on our phone that allows them to listen, but we don't know that we've checked that box? Is there?
Well, Mark, if you can find that setting,
yeah, exactly.
let me know, because I don't know where it is.
It's hidden.
I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I don't mind them stabbing the ads that are
relevant to you.
I'm fine with it. I just want to know.
It'll be in the iOS terms of service. It'll be in the terms of service for all the apps that we have on our phone.
Yeah.
So I was interested, you said that there's a lot of change in the last 3 or 4 months in particular. Is that expanded beyond Google, or is it where specifically is that comment related to, and what specifically are you talking about?
Very good question. So basically, we work across e-commerce, lead generation, insurance, a lot of different verticals. So when we look at the media space and the performance space of generating sales, or through e-commerce or generating leads, we can see the cost of traffic. And what we're seeing with some of the channels or some of the verticals, we're seeing where a cost per click was, let's say, if it's sitting at $5, it's now sitting at $7 or $8, and it's only in the last 3 months. So you're seeing this 30% increase, right? Which suddenly for the same traffic, same strategy that was successful for the last couple of years, suddenly got it costing 30% more, which means your cost per lead, your cost per sale is suddenly 30% more expensive. Then when you try to decode it, you have to start looking at a couple of factors. Is it the strategy has changed? And most chances not, because you generally, when you find a winning strategy, you want to run in that direction and you make tweaks to it. You don't rehaul the strategy every single time something goes up and down. But what we're seeing is that we sort of go, well, if the traffic is more expensive, is it because, number one, there's more competitors? And you sort of go, well, maybe there isn't. Is there less buyers out? Is the economy taking a bit of a dive? Or is it that there's maybe less people going into these platforms, right? Because AI is giving them other alternatives, which means there's less traffic and suddenly you've got an increase in cost because, obviously these platforms are trying to still make money to pay their costs.
So this is what I was kind of alluding to before. If I'm not going to Google anymore to Google things and I'm going to ChatGPT to say, hey, whatever that I want answered, that's having an impact.
That's having impact. So the thing is that what will happen is that you'll probably go less to Google than not go to Google. So there's certain things.
I'm not going to Google at all.
So when you buy, let's say for instance, when you purchase something, let's say you want to look for a deal on a car, and you want to buy a VW Amarok Ute, right? You are still likely to go to Google because you know it's going to give you the best deal, right? That's out there. You can do your research about it, in terms of what the fuel consumption is and what the reviews are on that, But to find the best deal, and you'll go do a search terms such as, VW Amarok best deal, or offer. So those type of searches were actually traditionally where Google makes its money. The problem is that it's the habitual that's changing. The habit of going where you go to a place to get information, that is changing. But it's the same. Even every time we're in AI, it's taking less time on Facebook as well. Because Facebook takes the time. So we're finding this shift, and it will continue to shift. But the thing that I want to say to you is that I think the biggest thing, sort of the counter for that, is that it's not like with anything you get people get the radicals that go, well, no one's going Google. That you'll do at your own peril, because I can see the effect that that Google has across every client we've got. But the impact it will have will probably be different in the future, because if you aren't thinking about YouTube and you aren't thinking about display advertising, you're thinking about blogs or about content marketing, you have to think of a multi-channel strategy. But the biggest thing you want to do, Mark, is understand what are the triggers that people pull before they make a purchase. If you identify what those triggers are, you can create the best content and the best ads and be in the best environments.
Can you give us an example of what you mean by that? So let's say my electric toilets business. What is a trigger?
Okay, that's very cool. So the thing that we sort of alluded to is that how do we make advertising smarter? Because we have to become smarter and become better than our competitors. If we want to sort of go in the opposite direction of advertising cost increase, we have to get a better conversion rate on the other side to make it smarter. So the only way we can do is to do smarter advertising. So one of the things we do with ChatGPT, to give you an example, is that if let's say electric toilets, the first thing we'll ask ChatGPT, what are the 10 trigger points somebody would have before they search, let's say, camping portable toilet? What are the 10 trigger points? What are the things that actually fired in their mind before they do that? So it might be that
the wife saying, I'm not going camping if you take that chemical shit toilet.
That's right. That's right.
Or no toilet.
Or no toilet. Or
that's right.
I'm not digging a hole. You can go on your own.
That's right. So that might be one or two out of the 10 things, right? And one or two will give us X percentage of the market. The other 7 things you'll be surprised at. So I'll give you an example for, let's say, for instance, we did something on pet insurance the other day, and we know that in pet insurance, new puppies is really something that you want to go after, right? But when you look at the data, it'll go aging pet is another trigger, and no one goes after aging pets, right? Another trigger will be a family having a dog getting sick or a dog going for an operation, So you find all these additional triggers, and for each one of those triggers, you can set up a campaign marketing strategy that can broaden your appeal to get more people.
You go to ChatGPT, did you say, and literally ask what are the triggers that cause people to go looking for pet insurance?
Yes, but then we do a second layer, right?
ChatGPT could also rank them for you to, like if you said rank these out of 10, which is got the highest traffic, it'll do all that as well.
I want to tell you something super exciting. This is going to excite you, Mark, because when you get the 10 triggers, right, the next step you do is say, right, now I want you to go do the search, right, on Google for that search term, identify the top ranking 4 competitors and the 3 organic competitors coming in, so the first 7. Now I want you to then analyze each one of those competitors on which of the 10 angles or the triggers they are using, right? And it does that for you by bullet point. And then you can see the gap analysis and what they're doing. And then after that, you can also ask it to go to each one of the landing pages, right? And also analyze out of the 10 trigger points which are actually being used from ad to landing page, because there's a disconnect for a lot of advertisers from ad to landing page, so because they would run ads and there's different company in the ads to the person doing the landing page experience, right? So when you look at all three, that you can start seeing which trigger points are actually under marketed and which trigger points are over marketed.
That's one part of it. Like we've got a campaign we paused just last week. It was like the click CPC was fine. The click-through rate was 20%, which is like bonkers. It's all stacking up, but it then comes down to the actual offer, and that's the second part, which is CRO. If you've got a shit offer, it doesn't matter how good the traffic guy is at the front end of the house. It's just not going to fall flat. And that's what we're doing at the moment, is rebuilding offers and to make them more appealing. And of course, using GPT involved in that as well. So the offer is the key.
So the high level here, though, offers. Yeah, let's put a pin in that and come back to CRO, because I'd like to talk about what you're seeing is working from an offer point of view.
Yeah.
But from a high level, what you're basically saying is that brands need to be very, very strategic in identifying hunting out really cheap traffic, isn't it? Or underserviced traffic. If you want to increase performance, unidentified, underserviced.
This is such a big thing, right? Like even in the Amazon PPC space, where it's a marketplace, a lot of the times what you see is that the agencies tend to go after the high search volume keywords, and you might get a 10% conversion on these high search volume keywords, and then you've got all these other little keywords that are not spending nearly as much because there's not as much traffic, but they're converting at 16, 17, 18%. And I keep saying less money on the high search volume and find more of these
uncontested. Sort of blue water versus red water.
A little bit more blue water.
You get that, but the challenge you've got is that it's all about where somebody is in the purchase journey, right? That right at the bottom funnel traffic, right? Somebody that's looking for, let's say, a car insurance quote is now ready to buy. Right. Anything before that, even if if they're looking at who's the best or reviews and all that, it's that last finding somebody and intercepting them there to bring them on board, and then you must have a good obviously a conversion experience after that. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck. But I think the thing, Mark, is that there's a couple of things. James is 100% right. You can get the best traffic, but if your offer is not right, you're out of the water. The other thing is that understanding market demand, and market demand changes. We think that to give you an example, if I want to go off the car insurance market, I can target everyone in Australia that's got a car, right? And we think that's old traditional thinking, right? And we think that that's going to help us increase our car insurance business. The challenge you've got is that 99% of people are not looking to buy car insurance today, right? And that's the problem. Then you sort of a massive amount of wasted advertising because we've made the assumption that just because you got a car that you want to buy today. And the problem is that, for anyone that's got a starter or a medium-sized business or, under $10 million business, it's tough. It's a tough ride to spend advertising on things that only big brands could do that's got a $30, $40, $50 million budget.
So we're saying that with Google Ads specifically, you're still targeting that, very bottom of the funnel, ready to purchase. If we're going to go top of funnel, we might talk about brands, we might talk about social media and other things. But here specifically, we're talking about those bottom of the funnel searches, whatever they might be, even if they're underrepresented.
And if you're going to go the route of going top of the funnel, there's a great book called Lean Marketing by Alan Dibb, which talks about value-added marketing. Okay. And so there's a shift. Obviously, we've got interruption-based marketing where we're forcing people over the head, right? Which is becoming really difficult in this day and age we live in, because we get fed up with that type of advertising because all these platforms that we use that give us content are giving less and less ads, right? So if we go in the route of value-added marketing and we play on the behavior that all the AIs across all these platforms of wanting to serve the best content to somebody's needs, we are having a better conversation. So I think value-added marketing is the key to unlocking top and cheaper traffic at the top to bring them down to the bottom of the funnel.
But in a practical sense, what you're saying is run an ad to this more top of funnel need or trigger. So the ad then goes through to a landing page that speaks directly to that moment in their life. And then from there, what should they have on that page if they're not ready to buy now, and opt in or get an ebook, or what is that still what you're recommending? And then have a email nurture campaign that moves them hopefully through the funnel.
Correct. Yeah. And I think the thing is, on this days to conversion, that attribution model, you can see days and interactions to conversions, right?
So, yeah, there's a bit of work there, isn't there? So you've got to first identify them, then you've got to write the page, then you've got to have an offer, which might not be the sale of the product, then you've got to have a nurture sequence for each of these 10, and that's the work.
Yeah, that's the work, because it becomes smarter marketing. And at the end, you are actually indirected in value-added marketing, because you're educating the customer right from the top down, straight through, right? And the proof of it is when a customer says, I want that, without even you forcing him to buy it, but actually saying, I want that. Then you know you've done your job. You know, it's like any good sales experience is when you meet somebody that actually educates you through all the different options, and you actually feel empowered by doing that. So that type of marketing, it's like gold class, like, you know, and that's what we should all be, I think, the direction should go.
Those clicks are cheaper, right, generally, than the bottom of funnel clicks, because they're less contested. So,
but it's more work, but you're right.
I hope you're enjoying the pod. Just a quick note to let you know that on October 19, we have a one-day training event, Unemployable Live, at the QT Hotel on the beautiful Gold Coast. This is going to be an amazing day. We've got some incredible speakers, including Rick Richardson, the man that successfully sued Microsoft for more than $500 million, from Byron Bay, who has over 200 patents. He'll be teaching us how to protect our intellectual property in business. We have Raf Hussain coming in to talk about TikTok Shops, which I believe is the fastest growing e-commerce platform at scale in the world right now. We have Chris Gion coming in from Early Bird AI. I'm going to be talking. Eric's going to be talking. It's going to be an amazing day. It's fully catered. You get the recordings. You even get a one-on-one coaching call with myself or Eric, your choice, after the event. And we're going to have lunch on the beach together. If you would like to join us for that day, go to unemployable.com.au/events. That's unemployable.com.au/events. Tickets are almost sold out. Click on the link to go see it. Enjoy the pod. So it's more work, but once you've done the work, so your lead cost is less, the time to the sale is longer, you'll probably need more of them, but net, it probably comes out as a whole area of traffic.
Is it a numbers game?
Totally, it's a numbers. I'll give you an example. Is we turned off our top of funnel traffic because it was just shit.
Yeah.
Remember, we were going directly for that one keyword because we know it's got the highest intent and we're willing to pay more for it.
Yep.
In that sort of game, I would assume you probably do the same for Adam as well.
For dry flush, we only do bottom of funnel mostly, right? And we were going to test some of that top of funnel stuff, and I don't know.
Can we speak about that? Because an example in the real world, or the out of e-commerce world, is land sales. Like, we knew that for every, I think our conversion rate was about 25%. Right, so if we got 1,000 leads, 250 sales. If we got 2,000 leads, 500 land sales. If you had the product, right?
Yep.
And is the top of funnel marketing that you've seen for brands that, because I'm about to start top of funnel. I'm not going to go bottom of funnel because my niche is probably saturated bottom of funnel. So I'm going to start top of funnel nurturing program, kind of like light my brick strategy, and then aim for those 2 big sales periods. What was the question? Have you seen that it's like a numbers game? If you can stack the top of funnel with enough leads, the conversion rate is pretty much going to be what it's going to be with each industry.
You have to flip the funnel, right? So flip the funnel.
I guess what you're asking is CPA similar, like cost per acquisition. At the end of the day, is it cheaper, even though it might be slower? Is it cheaper to go top of funnel, or is it cheaper to go bottom of funnel from a CPA point of view?
The short answer to that, it's a complex answer, because it takes long, and the attribution model, because if we go the longer, let's say the top of the funnel, it might take 6 months to convert, and your cookie window is 90 days on some of the traffic channels, right?
Literally, so, like, we're thinking about having 2 sales periods a year. So top of funnel marketing throughout the whole year for 2 sales periods. So building up like a campaign, like a land release.
Yep.
Exactly the same model with our product.
That can be expensive if the data turns to be shit.
This is why I'm asking the question, is it a numbers game where, I mean, you got to make sure you're not getting like people who are just going for freebies and prizes and things like that. But if I'm getting 10,000 leads top of funnel, should I convert it roughly X% if I'm doing the right strategies to get the right qualified leads?
I think you should. I think the thing is that it's how it's not the one or the other. You have to do both bottom of the funnel and top of the funnel. But our split generally is 80% bottom of the funnel and 20% top of the funnel.
Especially if you've got high ticket, it makes a big difference too. You can go bottom of the funnel, but if you've got high ticket selling stuff for 2, 5, 10, 15 grand, I'd rather pay $80 and get it now. I understand you're doing 2 sales a year. I'd rather pay up front and get that sale across the line immediately.
Yeah.
There's a couple, I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go, but there's a couple of considerations for us. Like we're trying to build our average order value. So average order value at the moment is $60. We're trying to build it to $120, which we'll do with a suite of products, value-added products, subscription products, perhaps. So there's that point. Also, the customer acquisition cost on Amazon is much cheaper than what it is on Google and Facebook. Yep. So bottom of funnel, that's our bottom of funnel strategy. And we're focusing more on top of funnel outside of Amazon and playing the long game for those sales periods because we have Amazon.
What are you selling, Mark?
It's a home product, a product that everyone has in their bedroom, basically.
What is that? If you can you share what it is?
Yeah, just a home bedding product.
Home bedding product.
Yep.
So the challenge you've got, right, is that your $60 transaction price, Adam, James, the journey that we've been on, absolutely. And because to make it a sustainable model, you need a higher transaction price with more margin on if you want to go in the other channels, so. And
that's what we're saying. So we want to our biggest periods are Mother's Day,
yep,
and Christmas or the Black Friday, Cyber Monday before Christmas and Christmas. So we want to build a profit per X. So we want to build an offering of $120 for those 2 specific sale periods, because what's everyone buying at Mother's Day and Christmas? They're buying something for themselves and a gift for someone else. So our average order value can immediately go from 60 to 120 if we have the right offer. And so that's the strategy. That's how I'm thinking about it.
So I'm going to say something controversially, and hopefully these guys don't
criticize it.
No. So basically, if you ask me to start from scratch, I would go with any e-commerce products over $300, $300 to $500 plus, and there's a potential for repurchase. Because then when you're getting a customer on board, you're not getting them for one night stand, you're actually getting them for a relationship. So, and because then your marketing costs just keep going sky high. Yeah. So, if you're getting a 25% repurchase rate, so you want to try to get, a higher sum to make the business sustainable. Because the thing is that what we are guaranteed of is that advertising will become more expensive. There's no way we have to think about that. That's going to happen. So I would probably go do some work around the business model to see you've already started something. How do you get over the $300 to $500 and repurchase rates?
And we can get there. Like it won't be hard for us to get there. The repurchase rate we probably need to increase. It's about 15% at the moment on Amazon though. So there's no email retargeting or marketing on Amazon. So we know we can get it to about 25% for sure. But it's the suite of products as well, I think that is going to make the difference.
I think changing gears in this space, something that occurs to me is all this talk about AI and how it's influencing. I want to ask you how you're using it in the agency and stuff in a moment, but my mind goes to the fact that OpenAI is owned by Microsoft and nobody pays any attention to Bing. And so for those of you who don't know what Bing is, Google it.
Touche.
Or ask ChatGPT.
But should we, like, see that? You cracked the PPC guy loves that one. So should we be paying more attention to Bing if we're sort of thinking about this? Because surely we're going to start seeing Bing ads creep into ChatGPT at some point.
I think it's got about 22% of the market share of search in Australia. Somewhere in
ChatGPT?
Bing.
10.
Yeah.
10.
Depending.
But that's good.
It depends on different categories.
Correct.
But you can get a 10% extra. Generally, speaking on averages, you can get an extra 10% of sales on Bing for the same strategy.
Do you see Bing rising on the back of ChatGPT? Because surely that was part of their strategy when they invested so much into it.
I really have been, interesting in 2000, and I think it was 2008, 2009. I can't recall, but I was actually, at the time we were working on, when I was still involved in Microsoft, this is years ago at University of McCann, the whole thing about the search engine coming in and they spent this massive campaign to take on Google. And one of the things came, I said, well, what do you guys, I think at those stages, like it's a $100 million global campaign. It was a massive campaign. And somebody asked, are you guys after taking over Google? And they said, no, we only need 1 or 2 or 3% because of the amount of money that's involved with every percent that you get. So the challenge we've got is that I think Bing is you want to sort of stack, get like maybe 8 or 9 different channels, and to diversify your traffic and your acquisition strategy. Bing is one of them. I don't personally, I think I've always been hopeful of Bing coming out there and doing more, but they seem to be stuck in how, of not just getting out of the blocks. You know, they're there, but they should be much bigger than.
How's the CPAs on Bing versus Google?
Sometimes cheaper. Like most cases, like we see it's slightly cheaper, but it's got a volume restriction.
Is it about 10%?
About 10%, yeah.
Well, it's 10%.
Yeah, so it's 10% of extra. So you can probably, squeeze another 10% extra sales there on Bing. And the people that go to Bing love Bing, right? So you've got a loyal following there. And it's always an underutilized strategy,
But the demographic who's actually on Bing as well, a bit more like an older generation. On like the old Yahoos and the Bings and whatnot, is that the demographics there?
It's also a visual demographic because people like it's a bit more visual than what Google is. And I think the challenge is that they've just never reinvented themselves to the stage where they can actually take 30-40% of the share, which would be good because if we had 2 or 3 competitors out there, it would be fantastic. We'd be in the situation we're at the moment.
When does ChatGPT start sending us directly to brands?
I read an article this morning from the CEO of Japan for ChatGPT, and he was saying some radical statements. And one of them was that the next version of ChatGPT is going to be 100 times better than we currently have.
I saw that. It was
right, and you're sort of going, what is that?
I mean,
right? Because we really
I use it every day, and it's going to get 100 times better. Just imagine.
That's it. And the second statement, which I thought is very interesting, that he said there is that there's 200 million people using ChatGPT, and they got 2,000 staff in the globe working on this. Wow. You're talking about the ultimate freaking business strategy here, right? Because there's so many. I mean, that's not a lot of staff compared to the 200 million, and it's the fastest software or platform that got to 100 million users. And when we start thinking of the idea, this is going to get 100 times better, right? We sort of going in this realm of when Blockbuster and Netflix, those times where we're sort of going, wait, change is happening and it's going to happen fast, right? So what is the cell phone movie that came out, BlackBerry versus Apple?
Yeah.
Like when those changes happen, that adoption is going to happen. And I think we are in for super exciting times because you'd be sitting on the revenue side, right, of having 200 million users. And you're going, how do we monetize this? And that's the exciting thing to solve. So our next frontier, I think, is going to be a lot more exciting than we are.
I can't imagine they don't go after ads. It's the most profitable business model in the world, right? Like they're going to go after ads.
So what are your smartest and most best performing clients? How are they using AI, and what are they doing differently to other clients like that you're seeing in the agency world? You've got a lens into a bunch of businesses. What is the best strategies you're seeing pulled off right now?
That's a good question. I think the best strategy is to get out of red ocean and get into blue ocean. And
what does that mean?
Practically what it means is that when you go through this exercise I gave you guys just now, getting the 10 trigger points, right, and then do the Google search and then find, what the 7 to 10 competitors, let's say on Google, are actually doing, you will find that 80% of the competitors are focusing on the same marketing message, right? And that's the mind-boggling thing, right?
But isn't that for a reason? Because it works?
It is because of a reason, but if you one of the 80% and you need to cut through to get cheaper traffic, you need to start, pioneering and testing more variations.
It's like dude wipes. Everybody sells wipes, but then dude wipes went and called them dude wipes or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so you're talking about the actual way, the marketing message of the product, break away from the branding.
Correct.
In a branding sense, right?
Correct. And positioning. When you're out in the market and you're sitting with 10 other competitors, right? And somebody's in that buying framework and you're starting to target them. If you can if you look at somebody like Sabi from King Kong, right? There are a lot of digital agencies in the country, right? But he cuts through because he does it differently. He does the same thing, but does it differently. And that's sort of like a good example of thinking of being in the game, but doing it differently to stand out from the pack. Because people are still going to buy. What you want to do is you want them to buy from you. So I'm seeing that the smarter, so the brands are doing well, are starting to think deeper in terms of having a couple of strategies and testing creative messaging.
So this is, in a word, it's the creative, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. We've made
creative is where the genius is.
And the offer, that's what we're doing right now.
Spot on.
Because we're in a blood ocean market, and I'm looking at what everyone's doing, and it's all the same, and they'll be all registering for all the same people, versus we're going full bespoke with a completely different offer to cut through and selling the actual first interaction versus trying to sell the whole product.
It reminds me of JD with the bank when he came in and talked about Greater Credit Union and how he sat down with them and made it about switch to Greater and get a free holiday. It's a completely different approach where every bank in Australia was advertising the lowest interest rate.
Yeah.
And he was advertising a free holiday and realised that people wanted a free holiday.
Well, JD and I are working together with three different offers coming down the pipe right now.
Yeah. I was mentoring a guy who had a mouth tape brand before mouth tape blew up.
Yeah.
And this is before the book from James Nestor came out and all that sort of stuff. And he showed me this product that you tape your mouth shut like this. And I was looking at it and he put the photo on the box of a guy asleep with his mouth tape on. And I said, and I just kept looking. So I said, can't get this thing going. I said, dude, I think because everybody was marketing it as a sleep aid, right? And I said, dude, you've got to completely reposition this. We want the box to be bright orange. Do not put a photo of an old dude on the front with the tape. In big letters, but ugly, but super effective sleep fixer. But you put the word ugly. It's like in Los Angeles where I used to live, there was a strip joint that used to say, thousands of ugly girls and 3 hot ones. And people used to take a photo in front of the sign because they repositioned the marketing. No, sorry, it's hundreds of hot girls, hundreds of beautiful women and 3 ugly ones. The other way around, right?
That's right.
And so I said to him, do a box that says ugly but super effective sleep cure. And then he refused to put the word ugly as the main thing on the box. Because I'm not going to call my product ugly. That's marketing suicide. A few months later, a brand came out called Hostage Tape, which basically made light of it because there's no way getting around how ugly this product is when you use it. So let's just call it out and make that central to the brand. Hostage Tape came out. They now do $40 million a year selling tape to go over your mouth, keep your mouth shut when you sleep. And they sponsor the UFC. So that's what you're talking about, right? Is
100%.
Repositioning your brand in a clever way that 100%. Creates a blue ocean. If you haven't read the book, Blue Ocean Strategy, absolute must read for this reason. So really being creative and probably a bit bold in terms of the way that you do it.
Our biggest investment at the moment is creative resources. We've just got a superstar brand digital designer to really beef up what we're going to test and take out of market. But we're going back to the sort of the Ogilvy days where you would take the Rolls Royce and say it's a car that purrs, that just gently goes. You can sit and you can hear everything, and it's like you need to think differently to cut out. So you actually use to your advantage that everyone's doing the same thing because you'll stand out on the other side. So that's the first thing that I think. And you don't have to be irreverent all the time. You just have to be smarter. Appeal to the thing like JD did, with a bank.
Different.
Just be different. The second thing is that very smart retargeting. So we start acknowledging that there might be 7 or 10 or 20 interactions before somebody buys. So typically, I don't know if I can say like days to conversion with the camping tour is 29 days. Right.
For our camping tour.
Yeah. So it's 29 days, right? And there's a number of interactions before that happens, right? So when we look at very smart retargeting, is that we could make a value added, and I call it value added because I like the thinking behind it, is that we have 10 different retargeting ads that speaks about every different feature, right, of the toilet, not just one retargeting ad. Because most people do one retargeting ad and it's just bringing them back in the funnel. But start using retargeting as an educational resource that every single time you're going out there, you're packing a punch. So you start value stacking and giving more information. And then the third thing I think is that people are obviously in this place where they want to be informed and they want to buy. And so putting really good systems, sales systems, in place. So James is obviously his strength zone. He likes the systemization of the sales process goes with it. And I think that things like ensuring that when you do the sales experience, how do you make it the best sales experience? Like literally think that if you were the customer, how do you create the best possible sales experience? Because in that equals your repeat business.
Your
right?
referrals.
Your referral business, right? And that experience, because it's one part getting somebody there. You've done all the hard work to get them there. But then how do you make it magic as soon as somebody goes that point?
And that
of purchase?
includes anticipating what they're going to need after purchase, being there for them for those things. And it's everything. It's not just when you have a complaint, answering the complaint. It's the works.
Yeah. There's some really fascinating stuff happening in that space. At Early Bird at the moment, they are integrating with a service that can take the details of your order form. So let's say it's a dry flush toilet, name, email, and everything. That goes straight across to this company that has robots set up with a pen, and it handwrites them the message that you've put into the platform. It signs it with a robot arm and a robot pen. It puts it in the mail and it posts it for you.
Brilliant.
So they're literally automating handwritten thank you cards.
Wow.
That go out to your customers. It's $8 per card. If you've got a high ticket item like what James has, that can be really a worthwhile investment. But I just want to pause for a second because you said point 2 there was retargeting people with different retargeting ads. And I just want to explain what we do at Dry Flush because I think it's valuable for everybody. With most products, there is 2 or 3 reasons or 4 or 5 to buy your product and not somebody else's product. So what Dante's saying is instead of just having a retargeting video, like we have, like the benefits of our toilet are, you don't have to empty a chemical toilet ever again. That's one benefit. And if you've ever done it, you'll know how big a benefit that is. It's a horrific experience. The next one is there's no vents required, and you can just literally set it up. So if you get a composting toilet, you have to have a permanent fan that's drawing energy from your caravan or mobile home. Plus there's a venting system and there's this sort of ongoing smell. Or if you were looking at a composting toilet, you've got to put the wee in the front and the poop in the back, and then you've got to take this jug of wee out. So we've got this series of retargeting videos so that when they go back to Facebook each time, there's a different ad that's hitting a different reason that we know people buy our toilet. And then over time, sooner or later, bing, that's the one I needed to see, then they go buy. That's what you're doing. Again, and it's work. And that's the stuff that people don't do because they're lazy.
Facebook is determining who to show which ad, so it's just about serving up the content, right?
And different ads. And that's what Love's doing. It shows all the different ads, and that's the way you get you get fresh advertising. Look, the hottest marketing strategy now, and I'll share it with the audience because it's from a value add, is flip the funnel. And I'll say flip the funnel is that one of the things that we see with the majority of people that sort of that come to us and that we start working, that they're spending 80% of their marketing on social media and content marketing and SEO and 20% on acquisition marketing. Now, the interesting thing is that you could flip that and generally, in most terms, double your sales results. If somebody has stuck his hand up, all right, and that he's interested in a purchase, even at best case scenario, you're lucky that 5% will purchase it. The other 95% won't. That's at high conversion rates, right? So you're sitting with 95% of people that are not going to purchase that day. That 95%, right, if you got your strategy right, so you start off with getting bottom of the funnel traffic, get them to your website, the 5% or 3 to 5% that purchase, obviously they purchase. The other 95% after that, right, you have got incredible opportunity, right, to do, value-added marketing, retargeting, right, with that extra 20% of your budget and retargeting them into experience to bring them back in because you've qualified them by their behavior.
Explain that technically on Google and Facebook, that would be through their retargeting applications? Yes. Is that...
Yes. So basically, let's say in practical terms, let's say you are selling bedding, right? And you get 1,000 people to the website, and only 5 people out of 1,000 buy, right? So 995 didn't buy, right? The interesting thing is that out of the 1,000, they all came in through bottom of the funnel traffic. So they actually wanted to buy, they were just not going to buy that day, right? So now the thing is that they will buy. Most of them will buy, but they're not going to buy that day. They might buy in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time. Right. So if you leverage that, you qualify your traffic through bottom of the funnel and then have a smart retargeting system, right, to bring them back to the websites when they're already over the next 3 to 4 months, right?
That's more top of funnel.
That's top of the funnel. That top of the funnel, right, retargeting is cheap because you're only retargeting the people that have been to the website. And you're not going out there cold. You actually have got a form of traffic qualification happening there and bringing them back in the funnel. So that's maximizing your traffic to get the biggest bang for buck.
Yeah, I like it.
We had Lisa Jones's pod came out on Tuesday. You guys are watching this on Friday, and Lisa and you, Mark, I wasn't on that pod, so I listened to it first time this morning. And she's an e-com expert, and you guys talked about competitors, and everyone thinks it's too hard because Chinese this and prices that and ad cost this. Yeah. But then you both made the point that actually it's just laziness. Like, people who work hard and are smart are doing this kind of analysis and thought and work are going to win, is so true. And I just while you were talking, opened my Instagram. We were talking about the power of creativity and some education. And so I just thought there's no avoiding this. Me being a bit lazy was like, I've really got to learn how to make compelling creative. Like, so how do I do this? I went and bought a course on how to make engaging TikTok reels and engaging ads, right? Because that's where it's all at, is the ad and the offer and all that stuff. So I went and bought a course. It was like $90 or something. And I learned from these kids that are like 20 on how to make engaging TikTok reels, and I went to YouTube and learned how to do CapCut, like how to edit videos so that they're not just me going, hi guys, blah, blah, blah. I learned about cutting in, cutting out, putting filters on, having a prop in your hand while you're talking to keep people interested. And in one day, I shot 5 commercials for Early Bird, right? I conceived them based on what I learned in the course. I put them all out on my social media on Instagram to see which resonated the most. And I learned about cutting out the mess, and I literally edited them on myself on CapCut. In about 4 hours, I cut all 5 ads. One of them I put up, I've just looked at it here. My normal reel on Instagram will get about 4,000 plays to my audience. I've got about 58,000 followers. This one has gone so far, it's at 71,000 plays. It's at 1,650 shares. Shares.
That is awesome.
So 1,650 people have pumped that out for free to their audiences for me. It's at over 1,000 likes, and 71,000 people have seen that, and I put it up a week ago. Now, the reason I tell you that, guys, is because I'm an old man, but compared to these young kids coming up, I'm 50 and I'm doing courses and learning creativity and learning to edit with CapCut and doing the actual work in the creative. So then what we do is we'll take that and we'll turn that into a paid ad, and using my social media as a validation ground. And then we run it on socials. We'll then find that ad worked. Let's iterate on that ad. So the same thing at a different location, or, put a different present, like just iterate it around that. And that's what Hormozi talks about. If you're not producing creative at scale, it's the work, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the pod. I wanted to share a really interesting stat with you. In our e-commerce business where we sell electric toilets, we noticed that nearly half of our online visitors visit our website and do their research outside of normal business hours. Now, when you think about spending thousands of dollars a month on traffic, it is pretty important that you can service your customers when they're on their website. And that's why we used Early Bird AI. That's EARLI rather than Y, earlybird.ai. The team there helped us implement AI-powered web forms, which when somebody has a question about anything to do with our product, our website actually texts them immediately and engages with them in a discussion to assist them with whatever they want to know, and is trained to move them towards purchase. We've also installed a talking website, or it's about to go live, where you can literally push a button on the website and it connects with an AI-powered voice that sounds like a natural Aussie-speaking person, and you can literally just talk to the screen and have the AI engage with them, answer all their questions, and again, direct them towards a sale. If you would like to learn other ways, including those, to grow your business through very smart AI, go and talk to the people at earlybird.ai. You can get a free audit of your business. It's not just for online businesses. We're working with plumbers, medical centers, all kinds of businesses over there. Go to earlybird.ai. I can't recommend them highly enough. With that said, enjoy the rest of the pod.
I think the answer to all of this, Lars, is having fun. Going back to having fun, enjoying it, and creating the best possible sales experience. I think when we start doing that, a sales experience that excites you if you were the buyer, right? When you start there, you start getting excited about your marketing, right? And you start going, what is possible? How do you create this ultimate sales? Because all of us have patterns where we've done a sale, right? How do we take the best sales experience we gave, and we take that and we can put it on digitally?
And if you're still getting stuck, going back to Chris's story last week, where they gave one group of people the task to build the perfect pot, and they gave another group of people the task to build as many pots as possible. And what they found is at the end that the people that were tasked with building as many pots as possible built the best pots, clay pots, because they had the practice and the repetitions in, right? And you know, if you're still not getting started after hearing this, and I've taken this message to heart in the last few weeks being on the pod, I just got to prioritize fast action over action and perfection.
And yeah, that's it. And I've committed to doing 1 reel a day and trying to improve it and improve it. I put another one up last week where I was just down the beach and I implemented everything I did. And again, it went to over 25,000 views. So last week alone, I had over 100,000 views of my content. I had 20,000 visits or something, or 10,000 visits to my profile or something, all organic, all just by buying a $99 course, but actually then committing. I entered the Instagram challenges here that they have. There's a section in Instagram where you can go to awards and recognition, and then you can sign in yourself just for like, here's all the different things you can apply. And it says activate the challenge. And then you go in and doing 1 reel a day challenge, or 1 reel in 3 weeks, 3 reels a week challenge and all this. And that gives me a little badge. And, you know, so you've actually got to do this stuff. It actually becomes fun when you finish cutting it all together and you publish it and you see what resonates. And my mind gets drawn back to like Dollar Shave Club, right? So remember Dollar Shave Club? So that one ad, he was actually a former comedian, that guy. He was a stand-up comic. And he made that one ad, which was like, stop paying for shave tech you don't need. Roger Federer, he can't play tennis. You know, like he misses the balls. He's got enough money. You don't need Gillette, you know. And he blew that up and sold it for $1 billion to Procter & Gamble or one of the big consumer brands in 2 years or something. But again, it was that repositioning, taking it, meeting the customer where they are on the thing that really mattered to them. And it's so important.
And I think the other thing, Adam, is that don't be scared to fail. It's if any of us, I think, you know, like failure is just a stepping stone. You know, that you're going to create, if you go in this journey of creating ads, and you're going to go, you know, full steam ahead, that it's guaranteed that there are going to be some of those ads that you thought were going to be amazing that actually figured were duds, right? But they're going to be ads that you thought that weren't going to pull it off, and suddenly they are amazing. And just follow the pattern that's working.
And you learn really quickly. Like I'm starting to really now understand for the first time what my audience likes, and it's not what I like. No, not really. I mean, it's just they like novel things. They like things that are part entertainment, still within my niche, but you've just got to let the audience be the only truth.
People like buying. Like, you know, if we get a buying problem, then our problem is we go back to the drawing board. We're not making it exciting enough. You know, we're not getting excited about enough. You know, we have to get out of transactional and get into, you know, sort of that creativity lane where we're getting excited about putting it out, you know, and then it's contagious.
That's why I like working with you, because I actually get texts from Dante towards the end of the month, and he's like, or the team, like, dude, we're just about to break 100 grand, you know? And like, it's like having a partner in the business that actually is watching it like I was.
Speaking of video, because some people get a little bit shy around all that stuff like that, but like, for example, for Dry Flush, running Google paid traffic, that'd be text-based ads or image ads. There wouldn't be any video ads in that, would there at all?
James, you are messing with our secret sauce here, but only teasing, man. No, it's a good question. So, James, here's the thing. So, to do image and video, both work, but the problem is sometimes image outperforms video ads by far. So, some audiences have got a 10-second video work. Some audience wants a 7-minute videos work. It depends on the quality of the creative. When Adam's on a video, it works, man. Like it like if you think of like of Dry Flush, right? We get the world's best salesman, right? Like Adam is like, when he gets on, he immerses himself in that experience, and people resonate with that, right? And it was taking, like, it's like Virgin Airlines or the airline industry, right? Richard Branson come on board, and suddenly the whole airline industry was sexy, and he had all these beautiful girls that were, you know, with the pilots and all that kind of stuff. So when you choose your category, you know, you want to go out there and ensure that the creative that you are putting out is going to resonate. Because if it doesn't, find somebody that can assist you. Sometimes I see people do videos because they've been told to do videos, but they're the last person that should be in a video, right? It's not their thing. They do it. They're not confident enough. It's not their thing. So find somebody.
We did. I mean, we used Jordan of Ventura. Those AI ads with Jordan hosting, and he charged us, don't quote me, but I think it was $2,000 for the day. And that included the shooting and the editing, and we got like 5 or 6 cuts out of that. And we're sort of planning to have him in once a month to come in and just iterate on what's working. So there are ways to do it now that don't involve necessarily somebody with my personality.
But also, James, the other thing is that the copy, really good copy. I mean, Jody will tell us, these guys that have been in the game for a long time, is that it's like a rugby team where there's no replacement for speed. Like somebody that's really good is going to outrun everyone else, and copy is still gold. But when you combine good copy, great videos, great targeting, and you're different, right?
Yeah.
Good sales system, then you start talking about. Then the conversation goes to a different place. To Timu's taking over the world.
The best guy that I've found on the internet right now for creating compelling video is Viral Video Club on Instagram. That guy is fantastic at teaching you about what works in video, and he's no ego. He's got a private coaching community that I don't think is that expensive, but it is. When you start doing it at any kind of scale, even if you commit to making one reel a day to your own audience and just see it as a test, even if you've got 1,000 followers and you're listening to this, or 500 followers and listening to this, you will see patterns emerge really, really quickly about what works. And I can tell you, as somebody who, when I was at Reliable Education, I think our Vimeo account had 4,000, 3,000 videos in there after 5 years. And all of them were me, right? So, and this is somebody who's done a lot of video, but really, it's so difficult to get good at this at the start. Like really being, it's these days, it's got to be like the very first words out of your mouth, the speeds of the edits, the little breaths and the gaps, like the editing is so important. And it is critical.
What works in webinar form might not work in real form, and vice versa.
I just did things like when I just got my video into CapCut, and then the first thing I do when I go through it is I just chop it between each sentence, or sometimes in the middle of the sentence, and just cut. In, zoom in further, zoom out, moving in and out. Then I go through and change it from black and white to color and I started by just putting one of those videos up versus one that's just static, and I double the views, double the retention.
That's incredible.
I was like, holy crap, this actually works. And I learned it for $29 off Instagram course,
Absolutely.
But you don't get the power of that till you actually do the work with it. And then you get the encouragement after you've done the work.
That's 100%. And the thing is that it might be a lot more work than you think, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you got this business idea, right? And then you think, man, you know what, 6 months time, we've all, you sort of get this must work, right? And you get started and suddenly it's freaking 20 times more work than you ever thought. And you just started out and everything's a mess. It's chaos,
Yeah.
And it's, I think and to actually push through that is where success lies, just on the other side of it.
And it gets so much easier though.
Yeah.
It's at the start, it's really hard to produce one reel a day. Oh my God. Now I've got Canva on my phone. I've got the 2 Canva templates set up that I use so that my Instagram feed looks all pretty now, right? And now that I know how to use Canva, and now that I know how to use the mobile app, and now that I know how to change the photo at each time and edit the thing, and now I know how to use CapCut, literally I walk down to Jewel, I have a coffee, right? I make the video. I was doing it every day. I'd think about what I'm going to do. When I stopped for the turnaround point, I'd make the film. I would sit there for a coffee. It'd take me about 40 minutes to do the CapCut edit and the whole thing, add the captions, and then it'd be done. And I'd walk back up the beach and it was done for the day. But after doing that for 1 week, all of a sudden, it's so much easier at the end of the week than it was at the start. It was the first time it took me 4 freaking hours to do one.
Yeah. It's that.
Literally half a day. Now it takes me 45 minutes.
And what impact is it at?
It's huge.
And that's the point, right? And I think, Mark, with your business, don't underestimate. Like you've started this, top funnel. The question I'd ask you is that what pain points are people experiencing, right? And there are mundane businesses, right, that you would think that never should create any content that have had huge success, right? And so there's
I'll quantify it for you, Dante, because I want to quantify it for people, because that question says what impact has it had? Last week, from those reels I put onto my Instagram account, we had 24 appointments made at Early Bird AI off those reels. 24 appointments. Now on a close rate that they're closing, should equate to about $100,000 of business for them from 1 week of me doing that. yesterday I put up in my stories, I didn't know how to do ManyChat, like where you say, hey, comment or respond with the word learn to get, and I'll DM you the information about our upcoming one-day event. Last I looked, I put it up at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The first time I'd ever created this ManyChat automation, which I didn't know how to do. And I did it with the green screen in Instagram. We get a green screen, you put like an image behind you. I didn't know how to do that either. So I thought I'm going to learn green screen today and I'm going to do my ManyChat integration Southwest. I had 85 people in the first 4 hours go through and request the information about the seminar within 4 hours. And I didn't even know how to do it before. So 85 leads for the one-day event, 24 qualified leads for Early Bird AI, all making over $500,000 a year for 5 days of just working on Instagram. And that's the economic value of it that people don't understand. Why.
I was reading a book and there was a quote in there, something along the lines of the beginning of knowledge is realizing there's something you don't know. And you're phenomenal at that, Adam. When you work out that there's something that you don't know, you go and learn it like instantly.
Yeah.
And that's such a power. And usually people are like, I can only do one of those things a year. Like I'll start CrossFit or I'll start Pilates. But you just got to do them every day.
I learned how to use the green screen on Instagram at 26 and Sunny Coffee Shop in Jewel, and 45 minutes later, it was on my Instagram, my first one with my ManyChat integration, and it's live. And that's people, when you get the momentum from feedback, that's when you get the encouragement to do it. It gets that bit easier. Then you get more feedback and it gets easier. And all of a sudden people look over and go, what are you doing? I'm just creating this video. And they go, holy shit, like you've got Canva on your phone, you got this, you got that, you got this, you got your likes, your volume's doubled, and it all looks like it's magic, but it's not.
Would you say that's like, from the mindset point of view or the mental point of view, that it's a muscle that you've built to just once you see something to action it straight away?
Oh, I've learned the pattern now. I know that's the pattern. Like I watch James work sometimes and it's insane what he can get done in a short period of time as well. But he's the same as me. He'll just lean into the hard, really smash through. And it's just for him now when he sees, like, he's like Hormozy, but like Hormozy says, everything you want is on the other side of a concrete brick wall. You just got to pick up the goddamn axe and just keep smashing every single day.
And sometimes you don't feel like doing it. I could do it anyway.
Most of the time. So.
Yeah. Look, I would argue that from what you're asking, what we're seeing it works and that James is probably one of the best sales systems setup specialists that I've seen. No one thinks about the off that leads coming, it going into your CRM, getting picked up by a salesperson, the consequence, and that whole experience.
God help you if you ever opted down one of his funnels.
Yeah, listen, you will,
one.
whatever you think you're going to buy, you're probably going to buy triple, But I think that is that automation part, and that you only get that if you are focused and you sort of going after it.
And I want to make a point as well, is that it's very important that you don't create false beliefs as well. Like some people listening go, I just don't like systems. Well, fuck you, learn them, right? Like just learn them enough. I'm not saying fall in love with them, but obsess over it for a month until you understand them really, really well.
Yes.
And then you can go and outsource it, right? And some people say, I don't look, I'm just not a camera guy. Well, ask the question, how do I get somebody who is a camera guy? Yes. Or how do I overcome that problem? Because that one unlock could be keeping you from a huge amount of upside. Like you've just got to learn like these things to the point where you can, and James again is good at that. He'll learn it and then he'll bring somebody in, but he doesn't hand it off until he's learned it to the point. Yep. Would you say that's true, James?
Yeah, Phil, the video thing for me has always been, not at my alley, as you know, but, as you said, find out who is good at it and pay them.
Well, yeah. And you'll find them for far less than you think.
There's a I don't know what the website is, but there's actually a website where you can get incredible Australian talent, and you can choose the person presenting. It's like $300, and you send it through, and they will present whatever you want to present, the greatest background, and you're talking about people that were born with a video gift, right?
Really?
And
I would love to know what that is.
So I will send you guys I'll post it by Friday.
Yeah,
so I'll post it on the link, but I was blown away because some of the guys that I've seen that are these guys were Facebook guns, like they're under the radar. They don't want anyone to know that they do. They like 4 or 5 clients. They're billing about $1 million, doing about $1 million of advertising for their clients. They don't want anyone to know they are, and they were utilizing these best in class presenters, And these girls or these guys are, I mean, they've got everything going. Like they were made for video, and they'll happily do it. You tell them what you want said, and they'll get it done, and suddenly off the races.
Yeah, I'm thinking of your business, James, and it's like, and this is in a complimentary way, you could consider it a boring niche, boring business, but the type of personalities that you could get, like the Aussie personalities that you can get that bring that business to life and make it so entertaining. Like you wouldn't want to step in front of the camera yourself.
I wouldn't be the guy for that.
No way. Right?
And guys that with a white beater.
But also,
like I'm thinking Steve
and a
Irwin,
union
right?
flag, mate. Get into it.
just on that point there, though, about testing and all that sort of stuff and coming out with a great offer. I mean, you've got the guy at the front running the traffic, but the offer needed to be majorly overhauled. Yeah. It's running image ads. We ran for the other business image ads for 2 years, and we didn't get ad fatigue at all. The conversion rate's been the same. The stats have been the same for 2 years. One set and forget. And obviously we should switch up the text, but for this new campaign we're looking to put together, let's test it first all lightweight, and then go when we know it's going to convert and the lead quality is good, then go and start implementing video and do it then.
Look, but Dante, is it just on that? Is it true that the thing that disrupts ads, or whether it be a good video or a good still, is competition? It's when competition start doing the same thing, that's the main disruptor of a good ad?
Competition and price as well. Like we underestimate the impact of people dropping prices. You could be flying and suddenly you've got 2 weeks of sales is dropping, everything was working, and then you find somebody else in the market has cut their price by 20 or 30%. So that's also is we can't ignore that. But I think that there are common truths that sort of help us to sort of counter that. Right? People want to buy from people. Right? As soon as we, I sometimes feel a lot more comfortable buying from somebody that's local, on the Gold Coast, that's going to help me out of something because I can go drive and go see them, or I know they Aussie before I go offshore. And the reason when you can make that work for yourself is that when you start having like a inhuman experience on your website, where you're having the owner run, that's on the website, I'm accountable, here's a 7-day money back guarantee, and you sort of de-risk the sale and then and be passionate about that product, you sort of could go against the guys that are just focusing on commoditized pricing, because you can, play to the things that, well, what if that breaks, right? Is there a money back guarantee? Because we might be more expensive, but, we back our quality, right? And you're dealing with. Right, are those guys still in business 6 months' time? So you can sort of counter, because there's always, 3 types of buyers. The guys go for the cheap, always want to go the cheap price, and you don't really want toward those sort of buyers anyway. Then you go middle of the road, and then you get the guys that are quality driven, And if you can sort of appeal to all three in a way, you sort of give yourself the best chance to convert more.
We have to start thinking about our businesses with their own personalities, right? With their own human emotional type personalities, rather than just, mechanisms to generate leads or money, right? If we give the business, I think there's, you've got the personality profiles. I think there's one of those that exists for business personalities as well.
Yes.
But you almost have to just bring your business to life in whatever means possible to connect.
It's the great resource Story Brand. I don't know if some of the viewers have know about it. It's by Donald Miller. It's a best-selling book. But the interesting thing is that you read Story Brand 4 or 5 years ago. Great book, has helped thousands of brands to find their personality, right? And it's a very good framework. But it's like you're the guide and the customer's the hero in the story, and you help him through a difficult situation. The incredible thing now is that you can take that book, take a photo, put it in ChatGPT, and create a story brand for my brand within 5 minutes.
Yes.
And you know what will blow your mind? Applying the framework and taking the image, something that would have taken you months to do, is done there. So you can, within a day, create an incredible personality.
And
right?
no market research is ever going to replace the access that the language learning model has to everything that's
it is on steroids. Because you're saying, listen, here's the 10 trigger points, and I create a brand that's going to give me the personality I'm looking for.
If you're at home watching this, you should be treating this podcast like a school lesson where there's assignments due next week, where you actually go and do this, like for real, because the power is in the doing. I can't tell you how many of those types of exercises I've actually done as a result of listening to you guys and guests like you. And when you go and do it, like the moment that I asked ChatGPT, can you turn this into a CSV file? And it said, yeah, no problem. And I was like, oh my God, like it blew my mind. and like, so what you're saying there, guys, go and find that ebook, dump it into ChatGPT, give it a prompt, and start playing, and you will start to blow your own mind.
You would be absolutely amazed. And the thing is, where it gets interesting is that you make decisions based on what you've learned over the last 20 years, right? When you do an exercise like that and you put this framework, the success framework on how to create a brand, right, and you put it in and you open yourself up, suddenly you're utilizing a tool that's got access to all the information in the world, right, that you would never learn in your lifetime, right, to give you a first draft of that. And you just get blown away. And then you can tweak that even further to make it better. So there's an immense amount of opportunity if you start leveraging, because we're living in an age where this stuff was impossible. If you've been trying to do this stuff the last 30 years like I've been, right, and I'm finding stuff that take me months to do and I can do in 10 minutes, like you just blown away the opportunity we have.
And I genuinely believe that ChatGPT and language learning models are going to come up with things that humans haven't even thought of, because it's like that AlphaGo, that game that I don't know who did it, if it was Google or whoever did that AI game, and the game started winning in ways that no one had ever won before, right? So it's not just everything that's come before us. Like these language learning models are actually going to come up with ideas that we haven't come up with before.
Guys, we could talk all day on this. We're going to have to bring this pod to a close. I want to talk about this quickly, Mark, what you got up on the screen, because I'd like to help along with that. Dante, where can people find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they connect with you if they want to have a chat to you?
Cool. So conversionadvantage.com.au is our website. It's the best place to get hold of us. And we actually, we actually offer a free audit, for people that inquire about our services. Obviously, we're a PPC agency. We focus a lot on Google Ads and Facebook Ads as CRO. And so just send us an email from there, book an assessment, and we'll do a free evaluation. And typically brands that spend, more than $5,000 a month on ads are probably going to get the most benefit from that. And so I think that's probably in short, yeah.
Awesome. Are you on the gram or anything, or not really?
Sorry?
Are you on Insta or anything?
I am not as much as I should be. At this stage, I've
daily reels, bro.
No, I should be, and it's been my the last 2 years. I've been sort of in the mode of going purist and being consumed with my clients, and just going back to old school and building the business because I love doing it and following the passion and building great relationships and cutting out everything else that normally scales stuff, but do that for them. And we've just come out of that. It's going to be 2 years now on 17th September, where we start scaling up, getting more staff. And now we will start doing more, shouting about it.
You'll always be looking after my account that way. You don't.
Yeah, I'll have to have a chat, see if I can nudge these boys aside.
So that's my view. So it's good.
Awesome.
Mark, what is this up on the screen?
Yeah, so I have been looking to try and up my social media game, or building my brand game. And doing the reels is something that I've found a little bit hard, but I am going to start doing reels and things like that. But one of the things that I like to do is write, or use ChatGPT to help me write these days, and have daily thoughts. So I've basically started a daily newsletter. This is up on the screen is an example of day one, the art of the gray zone. And it's just, my daily thoughts in and around mindset, business, news events, all different things that are going through my mind in a day. And I hope that it kind of brings a little bit of fire to people's mornings. And it's going to be...
How do we sign up and get your musings?
Yeah, so go to the website, so markdipaola.com.au, so markdipaola.com.au, and you'll get a pop-up there, and you'll be able to sign up. So over time, I'll beef it out and try and offer a few more different things. But for now, it's 30 to 60 second daily reads.
I think we need to challenge a brand with James's daily thoughts as well.
Yeah.
And actions.
Yeah, actions.
Anyway, that's one way to scrape an audience. Well done.
Make a fake one with actions.
Mate, I'm all about it. I think if you're sitting on this pod, you should be, taking advantage of what you can.
We've promoted your dating life every single pod, so
it's not like we pay you that much. In fact, I don't think we pay you at all. So, have at it, mate. Have at it. Okay, guys, with that said, that we're going to bring this one to a close. Please, guys, do drop a comment. Let us know. Did you enjoy today's session? It was a highly technical deep dive with somebody who really is passionate and knowledgeable with an incredible background in traffic and brand and all of that great stuff. Let us know what you think. And you probably saw the ads that will be cut into this pod in post, but we have our one-day event coming up October 19th at the QT on the Gold Coast. This is going to be a really cool event. So if you want to learn about getting to that event, it is unemployable.com.au/events. We've got Rick Richardson coming to join us. Rick was on the pod. Our kangaroo is named after him. Rick got a $530 million judgment out of Microsoft many years ago, back when $500 million was a lot of money. So he's going to be coming to it about patents. He's got over 200 patents, how to protect your intellectual property. We've got Raf Hussain, one of the top TikTok shop experts in the country, coming to talk to us about that booming market. We've got Chris from Early Bird coming. Dante will probably show up and you can come and meet him, and it'll be a really, really good day. We're going to have dinner on the beach together as a group. It's not going to be a mega event. There'll probably be about 100, 120 people there. And you'll just get to hang out with a whole bunch of cool entrepreneurs. So if you want to learn more, click on the over to there and get yourself a ticket. With that said, thanks for watching, guys. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week on the pod. Bye for now.
Hey there. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Unemployable. If you'd like to watch another episode, just click there.